How was it? Damn. All right, so welcome everyone who's tuning into the stream. We're about to watch Arctic Blast versus ESM for top 32 of OSDT. Two great players here. ESM coming off of a strong DPL performance, um, whereas Arctic took off DPL. Hasn't really played a whole lot of SV lately, but has played very well on this tour. Made it through the splits pretty solidly. Uh, yeah, should be a good set. Just kind of waiting on games to go live here. Uh, So yeah, just take a look at both these players' runs through the tour. ESM took down Thien, SMB, Girls See Ghosts. I can't say that. I'm sorry. Voltix, Rat Packer, Bolg, and Dad One. Pretty solid bracket there. His only loss was to Rat Packer, I believe. And then for Arctic Blast here, let's see. Railgun, very difficult opponent called Bai. Lab Lord, Slip, Van Badoro, Zeal, but with an X, Magma Freeze, Toxogen, and Zom. So some pretty difficult opponents later on here. Uh, Overall, I'd say ESM probably had the slightly more tricky bracket, but I think it's pretty close. And we should be getting a pretty good game here. ESM has used a lot of sand recently. We'll have to see if we see that. Arctic, I'm not a little bit less familiar with what he's been using, but probably some generally pretty meta stuff here. If there's any going to be any heat coming out here, it's probably going to be from ESM. Let's be honest. But yeah, should be fun. I hope you enjoy. Just wait on the game here, unless it's on here. In which case, okay, I don't think it's on here. Yeah, not online. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so yeah, I'll just do a quick recap of some of the games we've had so far. Rat Packer very early took down Yellow Paint. Rat Packer has looked very, very strong so far this tour. I mean, he's undefeated. I think this is probably the big name to worry about if you're in the tour still. Someone's got to beat Rat Packer if they want to win. Uh, this guy has been on fire lately, and it looks really difficult to be in right now. We saw Act. Act got a pretty solid win against Demantoid here. Uh, did get a bit lucky game too, but it was overall a well played set. I enjoyed watching this one. Um, then Staraptor had a good set against Oblivion Wing. I didn't actually see this one. Uh, that is on me. Let's see how this game went. It's an interesting couple teams here. Combine Bolt, crazy. Let's see. Dad One took out SMB. This was an excellent set. I mean, this might have been like the highlight for me so far. These games. Um, yeah, they are good to start whenever. Despacito got a pretty close set here against Shuritu with the usual heat. And as we see, ESM is just bringing over his teams for the main server, so we will be getting the game shortly. Just wrap things up briefly here. Zern got a good win against Whoosh. This guy did very, very well. He top cut OSDT, brand new account. Very, very good job done overall. Sempro got a win versus Bagel. This was another good set. Reggie Drago won all 3 games. This game got extended. Star got a win against Raph. This was a close set. A little bit sad to see Raph go there. Long time doubles player, but it was a good win by Star. Then Flying Beagle got another game 3 victory against Sylviana's So Cute, who got very, very far despite pretty much only using like one team, I think. Yeah. Um, so grass there. Lions got a win versus not Despacito, Voltix. A couple interesting teams here. A lot of POW. Let me just check. Yeah, it's not quite there. Then Modern, I didn't see this one. Played Grandma's Cooking. Oh, this is an interesting Metagross team here. Don't really see Metagross too often, but this looks pretty decent if you're gonna use it. Bullet punch stuff. And then Illidan got a win against Chris Numbers. Close set. Reggie Drago was not quite able to do it. Been a bit surprised to see so much of this Jugulus team going around. I'm not exactly like the biggest fan of it, but it has put in wins, but I think it's more about the quality of the players who have been using it than the team itself. I don't really think it's I'm a hater, I'll be honest. But it did get the win here in game 3, so well played to Illidan there. And sad to see Chris Numbers go, but Chris Numbers has cut 3 OSDTs in a row. That's the GOAT. All right. And most recently, earlier we casted Ann versus Nito. Ann got a win of 2. Um, in an interesting set. These games were pretty long. They're pretty close. Both of them kind of came down to the wire. I recommend giving that a watch if you have the time. But yeah, we're just waiting on ESM versus Arctic. And this could be one of the better games of the week. All right, here we go. Game 1 right now. All right, we see an interesting Articuno Hail team with Arcanine and Zarina and Alecki against Funny Sand team. This is a little bit funny. This was not the user I thought would be bringing Sam. Sand plus Crown with Landui and Torn with the side spanning component. So right off the bat here, this is a little bit rough for ESM. Uh, rolling sand into snow is not ideal. However, you do have options here. I think the Articuno obviously matches up quite well, and the snow component in general matches up well into the core of like Landui plus Torn. But it's more the Tyranitar you're gonna have to worry about. But you have this arena, and you have Intimidate Pressure from Hark, and you also have Gambit. So it's not too dire here. We see the lead Articuno into the Lando Eye plus the Wellspring. The Wellspring threatening a potential follow me here. Um, Lando Eye kind of threatening this Arcanine. This Arcanine probably wants to switch out. There's not really much that switches into that, if we're being real, from ESM's end. You could pivot into Zarina, but that's probably your best switch in. It's not the greatest, depending on the set. All right, we see a brief quick Terra Steel here. Arcanine protects, catches the Earth Power with the Protect, and we see a Tailwind come out from the Articuno. Now, that's a little bit unusual. Usually when we've seen Articuno, it's been Specs, but that's interesting. The question now becomes, is the Articuno carrying Freeze Dry, right? Obviously, the Arcanine can threaten down the Lando, which just tear it into a fire weakness, but kind of depends on the speed interaction here. I'm guessing the Arcanine is faster than the Articuno. But regardless, the Wellspring probably doesn't want to stay in here. Okay, we do see the Follow Me. Rocks will go up. Freeze Dry will come out, and that's going to OHKO the Wellspring. And the sludge bomb comes out into the Hark. I don't know about that one. Probably trying to catch this arena on this switch. However, ESM just going for the aggressive stealth rock and manages to keep around his Arcanine. Earth Power will come out now and KO the Arcanine. However, Articuno's get another freeze dry off. However, Articuno is not that guy, apparently, and doesn't quite get the knockout. However, Torn is now done to rocks, and Lucky will come in here. Curious what this set is. It might be specs or something like that. We don't really see too much of this guy around. However, it does still have pretty decent damage output with like its electric stab. However, it did get nerfed from Gen 8. It's now obviously 30%. So if this Lando tear it out of the ground typing could be pretty easily targeted by an electric move, potentially a Volt Switch maybe. I'm not sure. But either way, the Alecki can exert some decent pressure here with the only ground type like having Terra, and there are no resists. However, I mean T-Tar is going to be able to take it pretty well, but Alecki regardless in a pretty decent position here. You don't really get hit too hard by Bleakwind either. The other thing is if Lando goes down, can give it in the back looks very, very scary. If you're Arcticblast, right? Like there's not really much of anything that touches it besides Lando Eye or potentially a Focus Blast Iron Crown. All right, we see a T-Bolt come out. That OHKO's the Lando Eye. Wow, what a calc. I mean, that has to be specs, but that is a lot of damage. Hmm. Let's change the specs. All right, we do see the Iron Crown come out here. It's the speed boost. Might be thinking about switching in that Articuno here to get that terrain. However, if you do that, Torn is then dead to rocks and you're out of speed control, right? So I think most likely it's probably just you either have to fire off a raw expanding force in the Lucky, try to get a Calm Mind off, or something else. Or maybe just threatening down this Articuno with a Tachyon, but Articuno has very high Spadef and also just in general. We do see the Calm Mind. Tailwind will go back up. Now the question becomes, can this Iron Crown do literally anything to the King Gambit, right? Gambit obviously type walls it pretty well if it's not carrying a fighting move. And with the Terra burned on the Lando Eye, Terra blasts off the table, right? So it has to be Focus Blast if you want to do anything. Uh, Articuno will protect, catches the Tachyon. Assurance comes out from the Gambit. I don't know about that targeting. However, that does let the Crown stick around here. Crown does protect. The Sucker Punch fails. Interesting plays from ESM here. Sorry, for some reason my voice is a little whack. I don't know why. Uh, ESM not letting the Torn get off the board here with a free switch in. Pretty critical, right? Because now really all you have to leave the Crown in. Okay, so we'll get the Psychic Terrain off and we'll get potential for a future expanding force. Crown gets another Calm Mind off. However, Assurance does do a lot. It's not quite Kowtow, so it doesn't pick up the knockout, but that's a lot of damage. On the bright side, if you're Arctic, right, this Articuno is very much dead to Tachyon by this point. Extreme overkill, to be honest. Articuno tries to go for another protect, it fails. Yeah, Tachyon's just going to pick up the knockout on that Articuno. Assurance really kind of biting the SM in the ass here. This thing is not really doing a whole lot. However, we'll get the thing is in the back. A Lucky should be faster than this Crown if as soon as Tailwind expires, right? So overall, this does look very, very good for ESM. I don't really see a way Arctic can win this. However, it's kind of funny to watch this Crown get very set up and then Assurance fail to pick up knockouts. This solely because it's not Kowtow Cleave and it has 20 less base power. But yeah, with Torn dead to rocks, Lucky will be able to come in after this Tailwind expires. Yeah, there goes that. But and now you just get a Veil up. That's an interesting try from Arctic. I respect that because you try to get like some kind of out there, but there's not really much you can do, even with the creative sack there. T-Tar will come in. I gotta wonder if this is like low kick or something. But the King Gambit is behind Veil, which makes it unlikely to really drop to anything, I think. The question is for ESM, like how much you can really threaten this Tyranitar over. The Serena's still in the back. I don't know about that play. It's AV T-Tar. Okay, low kick does come out. I don't know about that one. I feel like King Gambit probably didn't drop to that low kick. It's not stabbing, it's behind Veil. And now you just took a lot of damage with like the one mon that could actually threaten T-Tar a lot. It is probably AV Gambit, so it probably has Iron Head or something. You could threaten like potential Electro Web in the back. Um, the Rock Slide. So Lucky is going to come in here. King Gambit does have the, I think, considering obviously Assurance, it has to have Iron Head here. And now, really, this is probably the positioning he was looking for, right? And DD can't switch in, it dies to anything. Uh, King Gambit's free to Terra here and just threaten with an Iron Head or something. Or that. Interesting. Electro Web will come out. And low kick. And there goes the Tyranitar. Probably calc to Electro Web KO's Crown here. But Crowd can't touch King Gambit regardless. So we're going to just see another Electro Web come out here. And that should clean up the game. Helping Hand. Does dodge the DD, however, not much to help with this King Gambit here. So there goes the final KO and the forfeit. So ESM does take game one with a really creative Snow team here, and we'll move into game two shortly. I think this is pretty well played. I think I kind of, if I'm Arctic, I think you let the you spent one too many turns trying to KO this Arcanine, right, with that Sludge Bomb, and you also burned your Terra early on the Lando. That was a little bit unfortunate there. You kind of had less flexibility later on. Um, and the King Gambit, with the Lando going down, King Gambit really, there wasn't much that threatened it. You also kind of got goobed by Freeze Dry. Funny move. All right, we have game two up here, and we see the Orthworm team against more offensive Bolt team here with Goldango and Wellspring. Um, Pretty interesting here. Okay. Spore will go out into the Tinglu. However, there is a double protect dodge to the fake out there. Shentel will go off past that, substitute out into something. Zagonet comes in. Uh, absorbs the knockout with the sub. It doesn't even break the sub. That's kind of funny. Uh, Curious what this Dragonite set is. That has to be pretty bulky. Okay, it's probably just AV or something. Oh, it's Dragon Dance. I was wondering if that's what it was. It's Dragon Dance Clear Amulet. That's implying multi-skill. Wow, that is heat. It's probably Earthquake to heal the Orform as well. Very cool. Tinglu does take another turn to sleep here. That's fine. Uh, Whether you are just gonna get spored here or not, apparently. Interesting. So Dragonite does no longer has its sub. Uh, Multi-skill being the thing that actually was preventing that knockoff from just straight up destroying it. But now the clear amulet's gone, and okay, Tinglu does wake up. It's pretty big. You get to spam Earthquake, KO that instant. Uh, so on the bright side, there's now no more Intimidate, so losing the clear amulet doesn't really hurt you that much. However, the Moongus is now kind of free to wreak a little bit of havoc. Goldango comes in here, potentially threatening just a plot or something along those lines. Uh, all right, there goes the plot. Uh, Moongus does hang on. It gets another spore off. Uh, this Goldango could be a little bit of an issue. I guess not really, because you do have POW in the back, plus other things that kind of deal with it pretty well. Uh, However, the Among Us is getting a little bit too much value. I think I would have liked to see like a Wellspring switch in there with the Tinglu intimidating and not really not doing damage at all. If okay, so there is no one turn wake up there for the Dragonite. Make It Rain will come out, and Paw Puff will go back into the Goldango. Interesting, no Protect there on the Goldango. Uh, Entei comes out, right? Possibly threatening a Snarl, or just Sacred Fire into either of these slots. Either way, a pretty solid switch in here. It's not really going to be threatened by the Goldango, assuming it's AV, which it most likely is. Goldango will protect. E-Speed comes out, KOs the Amoonguss there. Uh, Now comes Wellspring. Okay, so that's pretty good for Arctic, right? You've tried both the mons on the board right now. And Goldango could potentially even get another plot off. You also have Follow Me support if you wish. But I think the best play here is probably just to be aggressive and like target down the Entei hero with an Ivy Cudgel. Uh, Tingnoodle's not really doing much here, even if it does wake up. All right, so we see the Ivy Cudgel, yeah, but the Wellspring does catch it though. And now the Goldango no longer has any boosts. Let's make it rain birds, both of them. So ESM still has his Terra. Goldango burns the Terra there. I don't really understand why you did that. Um, Maybe the Wellspring is slow or something. I don't know. Uh, Pow will come out here. Regardless, it doesn't really hurt you that much. But Pow will come out here and threaten some big damage on this Wellspring. Goldango protects. You get the big Icicle Crash. Oh, huge crit. That's really unfortunate for Arctic. However, Horde Leech there, I'm guessing that that probably implies it was targeting the Wellspring, because obviously uh, you wouldn't be Horde Leeching the Goldango, you'd probably be Ivy Cudgeling it there. Bolt will come out. However, this is not a great position for it, right? You're threatened by the Icicle Crash. It may or may not be able to protect. We will be able to potentially get off like a Thunderclap and then KO the POW of Make It Rain. But I'm not sure I really like this position, really. ESM could probably just double up on this Goldango and just protect it, and it should be in range to double up from Ivy Cudgel and Icicle Crash. I think that's probably like the best play, right? Or you could also go after the Raging Bolt, but I think I would be more concerned about the Bolt's ability or the Goldango's ability to do damage late game. Actually, the play's probably just to Icicle Crash the Bolt and then Ivy Cudgel the Goldango. You still have the Sword of Ruin. Could also be Protect Bolt. I think that's a little bit unlikely. Maybe, because actually, no, this is probably combined, actually. No, never mind. It's Plot Goldango. You're probably not running both of those. This is most likely AV and probably can't protect here. Entei looks really good late game, actually. Especially with the Torn automatically going to be taking 25% from the rocks. Oh, shoot. Okay. Alright, so we saw the Thunderclap come out into the Bolt. Icicle Crash, knocking out the Bolt. And Ivy Cudgel going to do a lot there with the Sword of Ruin. And now the Golden goes at -1. Not looking too great. Navy Entei here is probably going to be able to close out this game pretty effectively. Uh, Goldango can't really do a lot now that it's at -1. We'd have to set up a plot to really do anything, and even at that. Okay, interesting Terra there. I think that's probably the smart play. Uh, Picks up the Torn there, and then down goes Hulk. Good win by ESM there. Couple interesting teams, but he played pretty well. Got the win. Congrats to Arctic for making it to top 32. It's a pretty impressive feat considering hasn't really played a whole lot of SV before this tour. But yeah, ESM will be moving on to the top 16. We'll have to see where he can do from there. Thanks for watching, and